Part 1. The entrance. The night was colder than it should have been. Even though it was mid-September, the air around the forgotten hospital carried the breath of winter, a metallic chill that cut through layers of clothing and settled deep in the bones. 4 figures stood before the rusted gates, illuminated only by the pale beam of a flashlight and the blinking red light of a recording camera. "All right, guys," said Ethan, the leader of the channel Urban Beyond, his voice trembling slightly, not from fear, but excitement. "We finally made it. The St. Aurelia Asylum, closed since 1979. Rumors say it was shut down overnight after something happened to the staff." His friend Liam, the cameraman, chuckled nervously. "Yeah, something like mass hysteria, right? Or ghosts?" "Internet can't decide." Mia, the only girl in the group, rolled her eyes. "Can we just get inside before I freeze to death? My followers didn't sign up for a weather vlog." Behind them, Connor, the quietest of the 4, looked up at the towering facade. The windows were black holes. The walls, scabbed with mold and graffiti, seemed to breathe when the wind passed. The once white sign above the gate had faded to a ghostly blur. St. Aurelia Psychiatric Hospital for the Mentally Unwell. A chain hung across the main gate, broken years ago. Ethan stepped forward, pushing it aside with a loud metallic clank that echoed across the empty lot. The sound made everyone flinch. "Still want to go viral?" Mia asked. Ethan grinned into the camera. "Hell yes." They entered. Inside, the air was damp, thick with the smell of rust, mold, and something faintly sweet, like rotting fruit. Their footsteps crunched over broken glass. The beam of Liam's flashlight swept across a row of old wheelchairs and beds piled in the corner like forgotten bones. "Okay, record this," Ethan whispered. "They say patients were left here overnight when the hospital closed. Just abandoned. No evacuation, no notice." Connor trailed behind, filming everything with his phone. He noticed something strange: faint white symbols spray-painted along the walls. Circles intersecting lines like runes. "Probably kids messing around," he muttered. Mia turned her flashlight toward one. "That's not graffiti. It's carved." They looked closer. The markings were etched deep into the paint, old and uneven, as if scratched by something sharp or desperate. "Hey, Ethan," Liam said quietly. "Do you hear that?" They all paused. For a moment, the only sound was the distant dripping of water. Then, faintly, beneath it, a whisper. It wasn't words, just a low hum, like someone exhaling through the walls. Connor lifted his camera. Maybe the wind. But none of them believed it. They moved deeper through the main corridor. Old patient files littered the floor. Cabinets were overturned, papers rotted to brown mush. In one corner, a rusted gurney still had straps attached, stiff with age, as if someone had once struggled against them. Ethan crouched beside it. "This is gold," he whispered to the camera. "Every haunted place has a story, but this one—" They say the head doctor, Dr. Greaves, started his own experiments here, on the patients. He believed insanity could be erased if you removed certain memories. Mia's face twisted. "That's sick." "Yeah," Ethan said, standing. "Apparently, he disappeared when the place shut down. No one found his body." Connor stopped filming for a moment. "You think this place is really haunted?" Ethan smirked. "If it is, we'll find out. That's what the audience wants." They reached the main hall. A grand staircase split the room in 2, leading upward into darkness. Faded murals of angels covered the walls, their faces peeling and warped. Someone had drawn black circles over their eyes. Liam panned the camera upward and froze. "Ethan, there's something up there." Everyone turned. At the top of the stairs stood a silhouette. Still. Watching, the beam of the flashlight trembled in Liam's hand. "Who's there?" Ethan called. No answer. Then the light flickered, and the figure was gone. "Holy, did you get that?" Ethan gasped. Liam checked the screen. The footage was grainy but clear. A human shape, standing perfectly still, then vanishing between frames. Connor swallowed hard. "Maybe another explorer?" "No one else comes here," Ethan said. "The police sealed this place years ago." They decided to head upstairs anyway. The steps creaked beneath their weight, each sound echoing too long in the silence. The second floor smelled worse, thick, chemical, almost metallic. Mia covered her mouth. What the hell is that? Liam aimed his light down the hallway. A row of rooms stretched into darkness. Doors hung off their hinges. Names were still written in chalk beside each one. Patient 12, delusions, patient 33, violent behavior, patient 41, regression. Connor pushed open the nearest door. Inside was a small padded cell. The walls were torn open, foam spilling out like yellow guts. On one wall, written in faded brown letters, "He never left." "Who?" Mia whispered. No one answered. They moved to the next room. There they found something worse. A projector sat on a table covered in dust. Next to it, a stack of film reels. Ethan, excited, brushed one off and read the label, Experiment 04, Subject Retention. "Should we play it?" he asked. Connor hesitated. "There's no power." But when Ethan touched the switch, the projector hummed to life. The light flickered against the opposite wall, casting their shadows long and crooked. The reel began to spin, stuttering at first, then steady. On screen, a man in a white coat stood beside a restrained patient. No sound, only static. The man turned slightly toward the camera. His face was blurred, but his eyes were hollow black pits. The patient on the table began to shake violently. Then the film burned, melting in the projector's light. Mia screamed. The machine sparked, smoke curling from its side. "Shut it off," Connor yelled, slamming the switch. The hum died, leaving only silence. But in that silence, a new sound emerged, a faint tapping. From inside the walls, tap, 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 slow, rhythmic, like knuckles against metal, they ran out of the room. In the corridor, the lights of their flashlights flickered in unison, though none of them touched the buttons. The air grew colder, almost freezing. Their breath came out in white plumes. "Ethan," Liam stammered, "I think we should go." "No," Ethan said, though his voice wavered. "We're not done. We've got to see the lower floor. That's where they kept the violent patients." Connor turned to him. "You're insane." "Maybe," Ethan muttered, "but we're already here." They found the staircase leading down. The walls were wet, the steps covered in grime. Mia's flashlight flickered again, then went out completely. "Not funny," she hissed. "I didn't," Liam began, but his own light went dark too. Only Ethan's beam remained, slicing through the black like a knife. The air felt thicker here, heavy with decay. A single word had been carved into the wall near the bottom. "Remember." Connor trailed his fingers over it. "Remember what?" Then a whisper close to his ear. "Me." He spun around. No one was there. They reached the basement. The smell hit them instantly. Rot and iron. Chains hung from the ceiling, empty wheelchairs lined the walls. In the far corner, a light flickered faintly, though there was no power. Ethan lifted his camera. This is it. This is where Greaves did his experiments." A metal door stood slightly ajar. He pushed it open. Inside was a small surgical room. Rusted tools lay scattered. On the wall, photographs pinned in a line, black and white portraits of patients, eyes scratched out. Mia stepped closer to one photo. The woman's mouth was open, mid-scream. Someone had written across the photo in dried red ink, "I see you." Then suddenly, the camera glitched. The screen filled with static. When it cleared, the surgical table was no longer empty. A shadow lay upon it, human-shaped. Connor stumbled back. "Tell me that's not—" The figure sat up. Its head jerked unnaturally, skin pale, lips sewn shut. The sound, a wet ripping, filled the room as it turned toward them. Mia screamed. Liam dropped the camera. Ethan backed away, whispering, "No, no, no." The figure stood. Its sewn mouth tore open slowly, painfully, until it formed a grin. And from that torn grin came a voice, low, distant, as if echoing from an old recording. "Welcome back, Doctor." Ethan froze. "What did it—" The lights went out. The footage ends there. Weeks later, police found the group's van abandoned outside the gates. The cameras were inside, all still recording, but the files were corrupted. Only one clip remained intact, a static shot of the main hallway, empty. After 6 hours of silence, a voice whispers faintly into the mic, "He never left."